Let's talk about Dr. Pamela Isley in my DC cinematic universe. Pamela Isley was an amazingly gifted botanist. And after the death of one of her peers, Dr. Alec Holland, she was brought down to the swamps of Louisiana to study the particles that Alec Holland had been studying. She manages to safely retrieve a sample and bring it back to her laboratory in Gotham City, where she works for a subsidiary of LexCorp. The particles that they had found are actually highly Lazarus irradiated plant cells. Pamela took them back to her lab, cleaned out all of the extra bullshit that was in there, and had a very refined sample of these cells. She found that these cells not only were unkillable plant cells, but that they had the ability to rewrite other biological DNA into plant DNA. So in one of her very first tests, she managed to turn a mouse into a mouse-plant hybrid that could photosynthesize. She passed these findings up the chain, but eventually Lex Luthor caught wind of them. You see, Pamela wanted to use this to be able to turn starving people into part plants so that they could photosynthesize, eliminating the need for food production. People would just need to stand outside to receive their food. But Lex Luthor can't have a permanent solution like that. So Lex Luthor hired someone to kill her. A group of hired thugs showed up at her laboratory and horribly beat her to death. She was lying, dying on the floor. And as a last-ditch effort, she went over to her last remaining vial of these irradiated plant cells and she drank them. And exactly what she thought would happen, happened. Her DNA was rewritten. Her skin turned green. All of her wounds stitched up. Her blood turned to aloe. She sprouted leaves all over her body, and she gained the ability to control and grow plant matter. She went on a rampage attacking the LexCorp division in Gotham City, and eventually she was stopped by Batman and thrown in Arkham Asylum. It is there that she would meet Dr. Harleen Quinzel, and the two of them would become best friends. And eventually, after Harleen herself was thrown into Arkham, they became even closer than that. During the events of my first Task Force X movie, where they are both recruited onto Task Force X, that is when Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn confess their true feelings for each other. And during the events of my second Task Force X movie, that is when Poison Ivy pops the question to Harley Quinn. And finally, during the events of my Gotham City Sirens movie, she and Harley invite their other best friend, Selina Kyle, out for all three of their own bachelorette parties, because Harley and Ivy are getting married, and Selina and her boyfriend Batman are about to get married. And in that movie, we get their wedding and the Bat and the Cat wedding. I don't fucking cock block you guys. I give you the wedding.